So, have you ever been told when you were younger, I'm sure we all have, that, we can all be astronauts, we can all be firemen, all these things. Well, I don't know about you, but that just didn't really sit well with me. So, I thought I was going to be a competitive figure skating coach because I had done that for 8.5 years of my life. Well, I quit, and then I decided I did not want to do that anymore because I had done it for way too long. So then I was told, you're just like Elle Woods, you should go into law. Loved the comparison to America's Sweetheart from the amazing movie Legally Blonde, but I decided after taking AP World History and reading that whole textbook that I could not read about 18 of those in law school, so scratch that off my list. Then my mom told me, look into broadcast journalism. You look like someone that could be a news anchor or someone that's a sports reporter. So for about 6 months, I thought this is what I wanted to be. And then my world got flipped upside down when I went to London, England over the summer, and I realized that I needed to look at a place that needed me the most. The world of entertainment has such a large influence over young generations in society, but it doesn't ever use them for positive outlooks. It uses them for negative. And so I would hope to change that, and that's why I'm looking to go into entertainment, broadcast journalism, and marketing. A little bit about me. First of all, my name is Mackenzie Rutledge. I'm a senior here at Frisco High School, of course. I've been involved in extensive extracurricular activities. This is just some of them. I was a varsity cheerleader I'm an officer last year, and messed up my wording. I was an officer last year, and I'm a social officer this year. I'm part of National Charity League, student choir, where I served as a student leader. I'm an ambassador for the National Society of High School Scholars. I competed in the Miss Texas organization, where I held the title of Miss Collin County's Outstanding Teen in 2013 and Miss Duncanville's Outstanding Teen in 2014. And with that, I got to go speak at school assemblies over a platform of bullying. I'm an ambassador for a new application called Drop Messages, which is kind of something that's good going into this competitive career. You need something that will help you stand out. And so getting able to start that now by being an ambassador for this is a good way to start. I am on Yearbook, and I'm the assistant photo editor this year, so another role of leadership. I've been on summer mission trips every year since the 7th grade. I went, like Jillian said, to Atlanta, Georgia. I've been to Vancouver, Canada, Seattle, Washington, D.C., and England this past summer, and I will be going to LA this summer, which is really exciting, especially for what I want to do. All right, so my quote is, use me to change the world, and that was spoken by Pastor Jack Graham, actually over England and all of that. So that's when I first got my call to what I needed to be doing with my life. My mission statement is that as I go through ISM this year, I plan to be dedicated and enthusiastic towards my area of study. I will be preparing myself for my future because the future to me starts now. I'm going to strive to stay true to myself throughout the year and hopefully make a positive impact in some way in the entertainment industry. So every student in ISM begins with an interview. You have to first figure out what you're going to do, and for me, a couple months ago, I just knew I wanted to go into entertainment. I did not know what it was that I was going to do, and so I found that out through the interview phase of ISM. And the first interview I did was with iHeartMedia with Sammy Yaz, Andrea Ropek, and Lily Villarreal. This interview was actually kind of interesting because it was intended to be with the director of marketing for iHeartMedia, Mrs. Abby Haney. And I walked in and they were like, oh, by the way, I'm so sorry she was unable to make it for your interview and stuff, but we have 3 other people in here willing to speak to you. And to me that stood out, especially for Mrs. Haney, because while she couldn't make it, she was able to get me taken care of. Sammy is the director of promotions for KISS FM, a local radio station and a national radio station. Lily is the assistant director of marketing, so she's just underneath Mrs. Haney. And Andrea works promotions and sponsorships for The Edge, which is a music station that would be hosts to Hozier, Banks, ex-ambassadors. And then what was a little interesting to me was that Andrea and Lily both attended the University of North Texas, and it's kind of weird because you don't hear that many people in entertainment that go to UNT, but they explained to me how an amazing of a school UNT actually is, especially for entertainment. Their job overview revolves around the world of entertainment, but it's also giving back to the community, which I found interesting. Throughout my interview, they made sure that I knew that, while their job is to run music and to be able to connect music with the fans, it's that community service that they're able to do. My second interview was with Paul Salfin. He is just about anything you can imagine when it comes to entertainment. Currently, he is on the Drew Pearson show, and he's also an entertainment journalist. He gets flown out everywhere. During my interview with Mr. Salfin, I heard him constantly describing his job as madness, and I was a little taken back with the word because you never use the word madness necessarily to describe your job, but the way he used it was in a positive way, and it showed that, there's so much that goes into entertainment journalism that you could get a call to be on a plane the next morning at 5 a.m. and it's 9 o'clock when you're getting told this, so you need to be ready to pick up and go. Another thing that he made sure I knew is that location is everything. You could be the top entertainment journalist in Omaha, Nebraska, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything, and you could be the 5th best in New York, and you would still be making so much money and making a voice for yourself because you are in New York versus Omaha, where there isn't really any entertainment. My next one was with Miss Abby Haney, and currently that's a picture of her and her husband because I can't find any pictures of her. But she is the director of iHeart Media, or director of marketing for iHeart, and I said her name earlier because she actually reached back out to me and was like, I would love to sit down with you if you still have further questions. And I'm glad I did this because she ended up actually being my mentor after this interview. She helped me understand iHeart as a company more, and she really took an interest in me versus my other interviews being all about the other people I was interviewing. She made sure that I knew what I was getting myself into, and she wanted to know who I was and what I was all about, and I really appreciated that, and that's what really stood out to me when we interviewed. My second interview is Shannon Sandiford. She's actually the current Miss Texas. Shannon was my Miss when I was Miss Duncanville's Outstanding Teen. She worked in marketing for EMJ Productions, and Shannon taught me, writing will open doors. She minored in English writing, which I found really interesting because who minors in English writing? Like, that's just such a weird thing to minor in. So she told me that this will open doors for you, and it will especially stand out on resumes. And my fifth interview was with Shelly Slater, who's the anchor for 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock news on WFAA Channel 8 News. Miss Slater was probably one of the more informational interviews I got, just because she really drilled me on, if you're serious about what you're wanting to do with your career, you need to be serious about where you attend school. She said that while you may want this amazing college experience, the biggest experience you can get is from your career that will come after. She said that will trump any college football team, anything that will go into normal kids' outlook on college. And now to my research. So you've heard me talk a lot about my interviews, and well, we're not done talking yet. My research assessments that we do for ISM, at first I had no real direction on where I could take it because I did not know exactly what I wanted to do in entertainment. I just knew it had to do with entertainment. But after my interviews, I really learned that I want to take my ISM experience and mold the two, entertainment and entertainment broadcast journalism fields, together because they do go hand in hand. So my first assessment I did was just over how I can get a better understanding of entertainment journalism, and that was really interesting to me because the point that stood out the most was that your job is not a typical 9-to-5 workday, and it will constantly be changing. I learned about broadcast journalism etiquette and how you need to have an ethical compass, and that was one of the biggest standout points to me because you need to be able to know how your words can affect people, but you have to be able to do that with haste. Another one that I did was over how social media has had an impact on entertainment industry. Going into my first interview with iHeart, my parents made sure that they drilled me on asking about social media because it's had such a large effect on the way people market. And I realized that it also has had a large effect on the entertainment industry because a big statistic was 28 to 31% of people find their news on social media, and even worse, 19% use it for breaking news. And this goes with whether it's a car accident or if Courtney and Scott are breaking up again. So it just goes hand in hand. Some of the biggest beneficial pieces of research I was able to conduct was when I sat down with Billy the Kid and EJ for their on-air talent at iHeartMedia. They taught me how to develop questions and how to get my foot in the door by interviewing, and how I can make a big difference in how I interview, because so many people will ask artists the same exact questions over and over and over again, but you need to make sure that you're the one that asks the different questions. I have, like I said before, I am mentoring I'm under the mentorship of Director of Marketing at iHeartMedia, Miss Abby Haney. And the first mentor visit, I toured all departments of iHeartMedia. We discussed what I wanted to do this year for ISM, and we both agreed that it needed to be a very hands-on experience because that's how you learn the best. My second visit, I did a Jingle Ball walkthrough at the AAC where I learned how much goes into picking a venue for concerts, especially for broadcasting. I learned that in the broadcast room we were having troubles with the flooring because it echoed and there was no soundproof walls, which can be very bad when you're trying to broadcast on the radio. Like I said, I've talked to Billy, the Kid, and EJ, and that was extremely beneficial in developing interview questions. I've seen the ticket check-in process, which is when they do on-air contest. You will, for on-air contests, you will have people calling in, and then you'll have to come back. They'll have to come to the radio station to pick up tickets. But what ticket check-ins do is when they pick them up, they have to sign like a 5-page packet of ticket check-in papers, and this will assure that they've gotten them picked up, or you could have problems with people coming in saying they never picked them up when they did. My latest visit was I got to shadow Sammy and Andrea, who were from my first interview, which was really fun, just being able to work with them since I did enjoy my interview with them a lot. I got to see how sponsorships and marketing proposals were done, and they showed me tangible examples of marketing proposals that they've used in the past for past events. And this is kind of just miscellaneous. So on the left, I actually got to meet ex-ambassadors on Monday through my mentorship, which was kind of cool because I got to see how the community and how fans get tied all in together. And then on the right is a picture of Shelley Slater and John McKay from Channel 8 News. When I went on my interview, I got to kind of just sit in on that, which was kind of cool. And I'm way over my time, but in order to in conclusion with everything that I've said, it's so important to start preparing for our futures now, because while we think the future starts after college in 4 or so years, the future really starts with what we're doing today. I'd like to share my favorite quote, which is my quote that I've already shared with y'all before. It's "Use me to change the world," and like I've said before, I would like to place a large influence on this. The entertainment industry is a large and dark influence on younger generations, and the positive change that I wish to see in it, I believe, could start with someone like me who's going in it with the right intentions. Oh, it's not. How do I get out of it?